Well, welcome back to another episode of Rain World, and I'm very sorry to inform you all today that this voiceover is not live and has been added in after the fact, over the footage that you are seeing. My OBS, for reasons beyond my understanding, seems to have forgotten that I have a microphone. The footage and game audio were thankfully recorded separately, and thus were preserved and what you are seeing now. I am just glad that I caught this sooner rather than later, so this should hopefully be the only episode like this. Now for the good news. Firstly, while editing last episode where I met 5 Pebbles, kind of, but didn't save, I came to 2 realizations that I didn't connect the dots for in that episode, and I will show you the footage of both of those realizations. Hello everybody. I nearly just jumped out of my seat. I'm in the middle of editing and I just realized, sorry, I had to just hit record immediately after I made a realization. Okay, around here, you see? This gets filled in. It's like a 9-digit code or whatever. Sorry, I'm spoiling my own realization. Look at this. It fills in with my 9 or whatever. Well, I realized in editing, and I was just gonna start off the next episode by saying, oh, I realized this in editing. But instead I've hit record so you can see my pure excitement at this. Look at this. I realized that it's the Citizen ID drone or whatever that's following me. That is the thing that's filling this in. And I was like, cool, okay, I guess 5 Pebbles did some resyncing. I'll check that out next time I record. And then I go to here, 5 Pebbles tells me the data has been corrupted. And then he resyncs it. That's the 9-digit code that I need to get through. I can get through there now, and now I'm just, as I'm saying this out loud in my realization, maybe that's actually the area that 5 Pebbles was telling me to go. Jumped out of my chair when I realized that. I don't know what to say. I just had another realization, or at least theory. I mean, could be wrong. I can't confirm. The me who was playing the game during this thought that the person that 5 Pebbles was talking about in this pearl, this she, might have been Sliver of Straw, but clearly that doesn't make sense. 5 Pebbles just mentioned that he learned about what happened to Sliver of Straw in the past. But just listen to this. I was desperate, angry. I wanted a way out, my way out, and that came at the cost of everything. I thought I could do it quicker. It was taking too long. I almost had it. I did not anticipate she would. And then I hurt the one person who I thought understood what I was trying to do. This looks to the moon. That has to be looks to the moon because looks to the moon is, I mean, it feels obvious in retrospect. I should have realized it. But looks to the moon is the only, like, iterator who is both nearby enough and who has also clearly been hurt in the past. Did 5 Pebbles hurt looks to the moon? I mean, that's all I have to say there. It's a pretty heavy realization I seem to have just had. Hi again, it's Normal Koi from the video that you're watching. So yeah, I realized the way that I had to go to continue with Artificer, which, you know, it's pretty cool. Finally that gate has some use to me. And I also realized the potential implications of what 5 Pebbles told me regarding that pearl, which I might have thoughts on, but I'll probably get into those some other time. Now here, however, is where we get into the central question that I had while I was playing. I opted, at least for this episode, to not go forward with the Artificer route that I now know quite yet. I've learned my lesson from Gourmand, where I kind of, you know, after 5 Pebbles, I kind of just rushed through everything because it was the only sense of direction I had, rather than wander, and I don't want to accidentally get into the end of the game yet. I mean, I don't think I'm that close to it, but, you know, I also didn't think I was that close to it in Gourmand. Especially since it seems like Artie can get 5 Pebbles to actually read pearls for me. This is quite a unique opportunity. Backtracking for a few pearls is kind of a viable option now. Now, this question, whether you would mind some backtracking or if I should go ahead and go forward, is something I would like to see some spoiler-free direction and input on from the community before I record my next episode. So, because there's kind of a few episode buffer between when I record these and when they come out. That also might mean that there'll be a few days off of Rain World. It's okay though. With all that out of the way, let me finally start narrating what you're seeing before me. Okay, so basically what you're seeing before you is just a whole bunch of chaos. A lot of scavengers, obviously fights with scavengers, explosive scavengers, scavengers flying everywhere. I then take a scrumptious bite out of this scavenger before I move on to the next room, and I find out that apparently I can't go back the way I came. I tried this for a little while, quite a while. I'm realizing I'm gonna have to save on the other side if I want to have to go back, because keep in mind, The whole reason I'm trying to get food to begin with is because I really want to talk to Five Pebbles, show Five Pebbles my pearl, and then save after that, because technically I haven't. I think I have the mark of communication on me, and the pearls show up in my collection still. But for like canon's sake, I want to get this taken care of. So yeah, anyways, I realize I have to go back to my other shelter, and that's when the scavenger kills me again, so. Now, my immediate next plan is actually quite a fun one. It's that instead of trying to go across and save at the shelter on the other side, what if I go back to Five Pebbles and I try to go back into like the actual Five Pebbles area, you know, bumping around your memory stuff, and there's neurons everywhere. So I start making my way over there to the 0G, and I try to see if I can leave where I'm not supposed to be leaving, you know, through the other access shaft that I'm supposed to come in from. Now here's where Five Pebbles does his whole little thing with me again, and one thing that I remember noticing upon third read through, I didn't even read this aloud, was that he says that his overseers have been keeping an eye on me, and it's thanks to them that he knows what I've been up to or whatever. And so I remember making note of that, because I feel like the citizen ID drone isn't exactly like the only thing watching me. Five Pebbles finishes his whole entire spiel, and you can enjoy watching me struggle to, you know, get into the right access shaft while I feel like I'm clearly being pushed into the other one, and I am pushed into it. I think I go back in, I think I'm told to leave. Yeah, see, I'm told to leave. It's not a request, it's a demand, basically. But I make it out back to here. What follows is a really long time of me having to catch 12 of these guys in 0G with Artificer in order to get all the food that I needed to go back. But then I did make it. So then we make it back to Five Pebbles. I give him a pearl. He tells me, we've already read this one, but then he launches into the exact same dialogue as before, where it seems to be, I didn't learn anything new upon the second read through of it. I mean, it's cool that he's spinning it around himself, which I think it's cool. I didn't notice that before. It's literally orbiting him really fast. Tells me to please leave with this. I don't want to think about it anymore. And then he's really sad and in sad contemplation. But then I try to take it because he did say to leave with it. And after I do take it, I kind of struggle to get back into the access shaft. And so eventually he just stops closing his eyes and starts shoving me away again. But I've made it, and so I shall make it all the way back to where we can get a shelter finally and have both of these events with Five Pebble enter the canonity of this episode. I think for about 5 seconds that I'm a genius and I can just throw that on the ground so that to keep it safe. But then I remembered that, oh wait, you know, it's probably safer inside of a shelter. So then I take it into the shelter, and this is where I'm going to be leaving the pearl, because I have another pearl that's sitting out there that I don't have Five Pebbles transcription of, and I suspect it would be different than Looks to the Moons. Now, here is where I noticed for some reason that this area doesn't have water that comes from above. Like, I don't know if we're too high up or if there's just not enough water. Maybe that was just the lower areas. Maybe it's a height thing. No idea, but I did notice it. No idea what to make of it. Now, as you can see from the sped up footage here, I'm going all the way to the left over here before I suddenly stop and realize that I actually wanted to go all the way back to the right because I forgot to test. Can I really not go all the way back? And this is where I figured out, yep, I can't go back. Time to go back again. Okay, so here, yeah, I got killed by a scavenger. Yeah, man, that sucks. But then I come back and I kill this scavenger. Well, actually, I don't think I quite killed it. But then I killed it. And then I took its, you know, explosive spear. And here's where I realized something very interesting. The scavengers had taken the pearl, which is why you don't leave them out in the open, because then they'll get taken by the scavengers. And so I'm like, oh no, what in the world do I do? So I just keep running left, and I'm like, how will I ever get that pearl back? Can I like see it on my map or something? And then the guy walks up to me and he gives it to me, which is very, very helpful of him. I really appreciate the kindness he showed me that day. Anyways, I run all the way back to get it, and then of course I run all the way back because I need food. I do a nice little neat little flip up there. But then I got, you know, destroyed. I make it to around here, and then this is where I see, yeah, this is the way I'm supposed to be going. I'm quite aware of that, but out of curiosity, I wonder, you know, is the echo still going to be there? Obviously it's not. It's how I got my one more karma in the first place anyway. And then I consumed the pearl to keep it for safekeeping, because I forgot I could do that now that, you know, the other pearl I'm kind of done with. I'm sticking around here because I kind of need a lot of food, thanks to everything that happened. I kind of miss that guy, so I go for him again, and I miss him, and I go for him again, and I miss him, and I go for him again, but then I miss him. So I've tried going for him, and he gets me. Okay, looking back on this, I have no idea what I was doing here. Maybe I was just trying to show off to them, but I die. Then with this clip, bro throws a bomb at me. Bro throws a rock, a spear, misses with the spear, and I get him. He really kind of deserved that spear. He was very, very bothersome. Then I meet his little friendo over here. We throw. It's kind of like a little Western duel that we've got going on, where we just keep throwing at each other, except then he's got a bit of an advantage, but I blow him up somehow, and I got him. But he's still up somehow. He can take a spear, but not that many spears. Now I find the pearl again. They hadn't taken it this time. I swallow it, and I go over here. There's a bunch of scavengers. I'm trying to get to the shelter on the other side, if you remember. And as you can see, I throw a bomb at them, which is very surprisingly effective. I'm an artificer after all. I should probably get used to using explosives. And you all will be pleased to know that I made it all the way to a shelter without issue. Now, my next plan from this point is not to leave this shelter. I'm not going to go any further down. I know there's a shelter down. And not to go any further back towards 5 Pebbles. I kind of like this spot as sort of an interim spot in which I just stay in order to sort of wait on myself to decide, am I going to backtrack? Do I really want to backtrack? Or should I not? Or should I continue with Artificer's path? Now, there are 3 main reasons I went over about why I would backtrack. The first, obviously, is pearls. I know there's another pearl in the garbage waste for sure, and it's like, if I just backtrack and go back and then bring it to 5 Pebbles, I could get another pearl out of this. There are so many pearls in the collection screen. The second main reason is I actually kind of want to go backtrack but forwards, kind of what I did in this episode where I went to 5 Pebbles and go to see if I can find unfortunate development and see if that's any different, because I'm floating the possibility at this point that Artificer could be early enough in the timeline where the infection hasn't even spread to 5 Pebbles yet. And the last, and in my opinion least important reason why I would backtrack is because in Garbage Waste there was a different area that I could have gone and that I never got to see. I got to see part of, but then I went the other way. So that's somewhat appealing to me. Anyways, as you see here, I'm obviously journeying towards 5 Pebbles to read my pearl. Doesn't work out. So then as I do, I go all the way back, and there's a guy who wants to ruin my day again, but I simply just eat his flesh. Then of course he's got friends, but you know, I've got to deal with his friends somehow, I guess. It's always on me to do the dirty work. The gate works for me here, which confirms my idea that for some reason I can't go back and forth in the same cycle. I make sure to rest on this side, now that I know that I can't get back this cycle. And now here is where I actually get the text off of the pearl from 5 Pebbles' perspective. And I'm just gonna go ahead and read this for you here. If you are going to make your visits a habit, the least you can do is bring me something new to read. Have you found something else for me to read? Yes, I have, obviously. Let us take a look. This one has not been archived. It was likely transported by hand. It is a message of political discourse regarding concerns about the increasingly tense relationship between myself and the various houses. This part is amusing. I therefore ask you to do anything in your might to stop the house, we both know which house, from further obstruction. They have less than 40 members on the council, but still tilt the spiritual discourse with our iterator in a direction that most obviously displeases him, and is hardly high-held by anyone in the community either. We cannot risk this. It is no secret that my construction was a point of great controversy. Many council members worked vehemently to prevent me from ever coming into being. Their stance was so unfaltering that even after construction was complete, a number of houses still denied transfer and remained behind in her city, out of protest. Her city is noted here. This rift caused frequent feuds and tensions amongst the community. Those of the opposition would never yield to those who supported a so-called apostate superstructure abomination. But to say I found their actions displeasing, not quite. While certainly more violent and disruptive, they at least provided me interesting cognitive challenges to use my time on, as opposed to the endless rituals and pleasantries of the monks of my own houses, which I found to be the most wearisome of all. None of this matters anymore. The only displeasing presence I have now is you. Allow me to get back to my work. Yes, help yourself. They are not edible. Oh yeah, I forgot I did that. I accidentally... I swear I'm not even pressing the key around them, but yeah, obviously I'm getting out here. It's always a droid trying to get out very awkwardly and embarrassingly. 5 Pebbles is so cheating though. They're literally like connected to the side. It's not fair. But yeah, as for what my thoughts on this are, I mean, I guess it's kind of the same thing just from 5 Pebbles' perspective. None of it really processed for me at the time. Obviously now in editing, as I just voiced over it, that was obviously the second time that I voiced over it. Still nothing particularly stands out to me except the her city part is like they stayed behind in her city. So that sounds like there's a city that existed before the super construct, I guess is what they're called, existed. I'm wondering now, as I'm saying that aloud, the only city that like looks weird or cool and seems to be not part of the super construct is the area I found in Outer Waste. It kind of looks palacey over there. But like, who's her, you know? All of this and more to be theorized about more by me in the future when I'm not voicing over an episode that I already played. Now for this next part, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw, ooh, I would be getting a cutscene. That's exciting, isn't it? Finally, another cutscene. But then the music kind of started and I remembered that, oh wait, these cutscenes are bad. I still haven't figured out why when exactly I lost my eye, or if scavengers are particularly involved in this. I still don't know the whole story. So here we are in the dark, and to my surprise, I'm playing the scavenger in this scenario. And then I question whether I am, but then I definitely am. And look, there's her, there's Artificer, me, and I'm like, I'm very confused what to do, but obviously we meet. I'm definitely not killing her. She just lost her children. It was a most peculiar cutscene. Anyways, I just included this next part because I think Rain World sped up kind of looks and sounds funny. I get a couple of scavenger kills here. They're nothing really that impressive, so you're not missing out on much. Slow it down if you really want to see them. But yeah, basically I'm going back to save over here, and here's where I'm not going to be leaving from for the rest of this episode. Now, I don't have any interesting bits of narration for this next part. My goal here is to just kill, get food, advance the cycle, kill, get food, advance the cycle, etc. And my goal is to try and see if I can trigger another cutscene. And at some point during this, I don't remember exactly when, I started theorizing that the blue guy and the yellow guy that follow me are potentially the overseers that 5 Pebbles was talking about, because the overseers seem to be separate from the creators. I've already said this, I think. And they're the only things that are like watching me. I also had the idea that because there are 2 colors of them, maybe the yellow guy belongs to Looks to the Moon, and the blue guy belongs to 5 Pebbles, which would be why the blue guy is present during Artificer, because right now Looks to the Moon isn't even involved. But that's just a theory. Okay, but for this next part, things got really interesting because after I woke up, everything was shaking. Like the entire world was shaking, and I was very confused. I didn't know what was going on. My first initial thought was maybe this happened to me kind of once in Gourmand, where I woke up and it was still raining out. But I'm in an area that doesn't rain, and it's daytime. It's daytime here. It's not supposed to rain. I'm above the clouds. I'm above the rain. So I started going down, because obviously the further down I go, the more into the rain I become, just to test my theory that it is the rain. And turns out, yeah, the further down I went, the rain starts picking up. And I guess it was it's a really cool opportunity. It was really a cool opportunity for me to just test the limits of, because when the rain comes, it's usually dark, but now I get to see it in the day and see the different layers of its intensity going from the top to the bottom. So this was all a pretty fun experience, I'd say. And as you can see out here, here's where I kind of just stop and watch, because I'm seeing, obviously, it's It's raining really hard out there, and, you know, some elements of the superstructure is kind of protecting us, and then I die. But I still just watch. It was very fascinating to me. Anyways, I eat a scavenger, and guess what? It turns out it's enough for a cutscene. We get 2 cutscenes in this episode. And of course, the music starts picking up again. I'm worried. It's not looking good for me at all. We open up in pretty much the same location as last time. I mean, we've got the red thing. I'm playing as Artificer this time, but I still see the scavenger. It's a bit interesting because the scavenger's not doing anything to me. I pick up a spear. I try to grab it, but it grabs it from me. And then it bonks me, and I'm like, wait, did I just canonically die in the past? That's not supposed to happen. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's how I lost my eye. Maybe the scavenger poked my eye out or something. And then finally, to end the episode, I go to collections, and here, by the way, I've just in editing, I looked at this. There are 13 times 5 slots for these pearls. Or I assume they're all pearls. That's 65 pearls. I've only seen 3. That's a lot of pearls. Anyways, yeah, I'm actually running out of footage here at this point. So I'm going to have to say thank you everybody for watching. Sorry that there was no authentic audio for this one. There will be in the next one. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Farewell.